Good evening, everybody. We got here a 1v1 Arabia between Hera and Sitaux. So let's get right into it. We do have in the blue playing as the Vikings, Hera, and then his enemy in the red playing as the Burgundians, Sitaux. So, of course, two top level players, both in the top 5 as of recording. Sitaux, newer onto the scene, really took it by force in the last couple of years. And Hera, he's been around for a while now. He's no longer that young kid, but he is very capable of beating Sitaux, and Sitaux is very capable of beating Hera. So we will see what type of matchup we end up with. Two interesting civilizations with Vikings and Burgundians. Burgundians, one of the newer civilizations, not the newest, of course, but Vikings, a classic civilization that's been around since the beginning. So let's take a quick look at the maps, and we do have Hera's map. It's pretty open, all things considered. He's got forward berries, forward gold, not great, but he does have this nice back gold, back stone if he needs to, and could always wall in, but knowing Hera, he's not going to make a big wall out here right off the bat, and if he does, I'll be surprised. Might just do some walling across here and into the town center to make sure the enemy has to run by his town center to get in. Taking a look at Sitaux's base as he's pushing in his deer to begin with. Well, pretty open on this side as well. He's got this nice little pocket here that can provide some coverage. He's got backberries, which is a big benefit early on in the game, but also forward gold, and he doesn't have a backup gold that's easily accessible like Hera's is. So early game, Sitaux definitely has the better map, but as the game progresses, having this safe gold, having this safe stone for Hera is going to be very, very helpful. Just the stone in the back for Sitaux. And Sitaux taking out the boar with the town center, very well calculated, and Hera in the meantime will do the same. Both of the players, though, are going to be scouting out, and when we compare these two civilizations, Vikings not very good with cavalry. Typically an archer civilization, we could see berserks coming in later in the game. Great unit and very strong against cavalry. And then the Burgundians, well, they're very cavalry heavy. Lots of unique bonuses that come with cavalry for the Burgundians, and a strong unique unit as well. So different play styles that both of these civilizations will bring to the table, but we will see how it all plays out because both players are going to know what the enemy's doing pretty easily with these matchups. You could mix up something, add some archers at early feudal age for the Burgundians, but at the end of the day, you want to be pushing back into a more cavalry role. And then same for the Vikings. You could add a few scouts to start off, but long-term, not a great decision. There we go. Both boars brought in for both players, and so now deer has been brought in as well. We will see some scouting around. Sitaux is already on the way out. He sees this gold, but it's just a neutral gold, so he knows that the enemy is not nearby. 3 tiles means neutral. And so he will head down here. He knows that the enemy's got to be around here somewhere, and he is making a beeline right for the town center, but he will see the main gold first, spots the gold, runs away, sees a couple of houses, some villagers on the berries, so that's a good scouting already, and he does notice the barracks as well, so that is really good scouting. He sees exactly what's going on and what Hera has on the table. In the meantime, Sitaux is working on his wall across the front of his base. This will create a nice little pocket here once the wall is completed, and he is adding a barracks of his own. So that will allow him to add some militia if he needs to protect himself and also work on that wall. So the good thing about this wall is it is far enough forward that this forward gold will be protected. If we take a look at what Hera has scouted out, he has seen the berries in the back of the base, and he's not yet seen the barracks, but he will see that very shortly here, and he will even see a militia out in front. So 2 militia spotted by Hera. he's not building militia of his own as of yet. So we'll see what sort of response he gets. Hera, known for doing these quick little walls that we see some of the players do up in the pro level. And Hera's going to be up in the next age well before the enemy. And we'll see what sort of thing he can come up with, as he's just waiting for the resources to drop in archery range, but he drops a stable instead. So there you go. That's what I was talking about. It's a possibility to drop stable for some quick response units, but long term, not necessarily a good move for the Vikings. You want to be pushing with archers eventually, so the switch will happen, but he notices that he's up quicker. He knows that he has a time limit that scouts are so much stronger for, and the response is a big wall from Sitaux. He walls off immediately, knowing that scouts will be coming across in no time, as a spearman's already out for the Viking player and gets a couple good shots off on those scouts, and the scouts choosing to just run straight by and go in, see what sort of damage can be done. There is a hole here, might have been just line of sight that caused that hole to happen, but the scouts running forward, trying to do a little bit of damage in the short time period that Hera has for the advantage. Looping around is a good idea. These walls will not be finished in time, as these ones might have been and had a spear protecting as well. The quick walls are happening, and just in time. Good play there by Sitaux. Does block out these scouts. Spearmen are going to protect from behind, and these scouts now not quite as valuable as they could have been, but of course they are in the hands of Hera, who is so good with scouts and harassing economy and keeping scouts alive long term. He is such a quick player and able to jump back and forth quite easily and use those scouts to his advantage. Still no secondary military building for Sitaux. Sitaux instead choosing to build up his economy a little bit more. He does have a fairly strong economy, quite a few farms with 9 so far, got a few on wood, and he might be wanting to just look up to the next age a little bit earlier on, as the spears will fight against the militia, but the militia at this point are not too concerned. They've done damage, but not quite enough. They mostly just bought a little bit of time and a little bit of map control at the same time. Both players now collecting gold, and will be actually at a pretty good position when it comes to gold, as the spearman for Hera does fall. And Hera not able to do too much with this scout push, but Sitaux also not doing too much forward, as a stable is coming up for Sitaux, so we will see some sort of response, but already the switch into archers has happened for the Viking player, and that's a good move. That is something that is necessary when you are playing as the Vikings. You can throw out a couple of scouts, but at the end of the day, you want to be switching to archers. So archers against scouts will be the response, as both players have a fairly strong economy and are looking to get up to the next age shortly. So if you look at the resources for Hera, he is very close. He's got this blacksmith coming up, but he's already got his feudal age buildings. And with 7 on gold, that's more than enough to collect up. He has the resources to click up to the next age. He's got the buildings, and he is up to the next stage. And at the same time, Sitaux just a little bit behind. He is going to continue to collect up from these farms, and Hera in the meantime walling up, protecting, and yes, just choosing to wall into the town center rather than these big walls that we would see and expect out of other players. This scout, of course, very weak. That is the starting scout for Sitaux. And if you take a look at the mini map here, quite a bit has been found already by Sitaux. and same thing for Hera. Both of these players very good at knowing that they need to get that visibility of the map, know where the relics are, know where the extra golds are, the extra stones, know where the enemy is going to be collecting resources and where they can collect resources later on. As second archery range is up for Hera, and that has been spotted as well. So that is one thing to note. These infantry have spotted the archer move. It's not going to be a big surprise to anyone, but it is something nonetheless. And with the archers out, they will immediately gain value, as a little bit of micro will make it very easy to engage with the archers against both the militia and the spearmen. Both of those very weak against even small numbers of archers, and nothing really on the field right now for Sitaux to fight back against these archers, as the archers are going to move forward and could range this wood line, which would cause quite a few delays. Still another 30 seconds until the next age is hit, and the archers are going to pick off this spearman. So the scouts are able to stay alive. Crossbows coming in, bodkin arrow is coming in, so these archers will have much more range and much more attack. So it'll be a lot more potent of an attack. But the response for Sitaux, rather than going for any sort of military buildings, he's going to the main military building, the castle. That castle will go up for sure, and very good of him to have collected that. That's a good use of resources. You've got that backstone, you know it's safe. It's always a good move to add that in, as his second town center is going to go in behind it. So good on him also to collect enough stone to still be able to drop that second town center. Just a little bit more and he can drop his third, but doesn't quite have the wood for it yet. In the meantime, Hera dropping his town center on this gold in the back. Coustillier coming out and husbandry in. So it looks like Sitaux is going to push strictly with Coustillier and siege, which very difficult to engage against. But of course, crossbows in large numbers can pick off the Coustillier. They're just so fast to be produced, and they have such a high first attack. 9 archers should be enough to engage against this small of a force, but as you can see here, without ballistics, it gets very difficult against these very fast-moving units. And now we're at that point where 4 are on the field, another one is going to be coming out shortly, and it's harder and harder to engage. They are just so strong, and so Hera choosing to boom up a little bit and add into his economy with his third town center. We might even see a second castle out of Sitaux, and I would love to see a forward castle drop. He knows where the enemy is. He knows what sort of resources the enemy has, so he could do some good damage. The monk unable to get a conversion out of any of these Coustilliers, and we will likely see a forward castle, especially with the support of this mangonel. There is not much that Hera can do in response. Good move from Hera. He is collecting up relics. He is going to get ballistics in, but that was a big shot from the mangonel. 2 crossbows immediately fall to the mangonel. The crossbows that didn't fall were very weak, so good thing the monks are out, are going to heal up a little bit, but the crossbows with the same range as the mangonel make it tough to engage, as a villager falls now too. Hera on the back foot as an outpost rush is coming forward. We've got mangonels. Hera trying to work the split. Hera trying to convert whatever he can. The mangonel still possible to get some good shots in, and good move to get the monk out of the way just in time, as the scouts are going to protect the other relics over here. A monk coming up in response for Sitaux, and this is quite a few mangonels now on the field. It's okay to dance and micro around 1 mangonel, even 2, but once this third one comes in, it gets really, really difficult. And with those monks too, they're so weak already. The light cavalry trying to get a pick off, but not able to do it quite yet, and this mangonel will be healed up. No real siege out in response for Hera. He is choosing to fully boom up, and there we go. forward castle. Look at that castle right on the face of Hera, just ready to take him out. The knight getting a free shot, free pickoff, as a lot of villagers are going to come forward, and this will almost guarantee that this castle will go up. And if this castle goes up, it might just be GG. This is a very good way to play the Burgundians. Use those castles to your advantage. Use the Coustillier, all of the advantages you can, and against a civilization like the Vikings, not much you can do in this mid-castle awkward part of the game. Very strong economy, of course, for the Vikings. Right now, Hera has a much stronger economy, considering he's got more units and the units are working more effectively. But with this castle right on the front of his base, there's not too much that can be done. So a siege workshop coming up in response. A couple mangonels will come out and we'll be able to engage against the siege, but it's going to be 4 versus 1, and even the archery range is now going to be ranged. So any crossbow that leaves this archery range will be able to get ranged. And the monastery falling, that relic will come out, so that is less resources for Hera, of course, collecting that gold from every relic that's in there. And the crossbows try to maybe go in, but aren't quite in yet. This is it. Mangonel is out. The monks are going to try to get a conversion, and can Hera get the result he's hoping for? Not a good engagement to begin with. He took a lot of losses there. Big shot from the Mangonel, but 2 have gone down and 1 stays up for Hera. The Coustilliers running in, and a conversion happens. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. As another Mangonel goes, Hera doing such a good job with the micro with these Mangonels, but he's lost a lot of crossbows. Will he be able to pick off another Coustillier? He does. He takes out that Mangonel, and so that allows him to breathe a little sigh of relief. He lost almost his entire army. He's rebuilding archery ranges in the back of his base. He's rebuilding a town center in the back of his base. He's collecting up stone as quickly as possible because he needs a castle in defense. As a battering ram is pushing down, Coustilliers coming in from the other side. They can break through houses and palisades like nothing else. And town center, will it make it up in time? Well, it looks like it might, but they might be a couple of villagers lost first. 1 villager down, 2 villagers down. The town center goes up. The Coustilliers are running underneath the town center fire, picking off more villagers and even engaging just at this small of a number underneath the town center. Hera close to having enough resources now to get up to a castle, and he gets a couple of conversions in. That is a really good move, as he is in the Imperial Age and he's going to be getting the upgrades he needs. Can he hold off? He went for booming, he went for the Imperial Age, and he is now dropping his castle. Because he's in the Castle Age, Sitaux will be unable to respond to any trebuchets, and this has been a total workshop on using mangonels. Great work from Hera there, great job, but he has very little gold, so he needs to start to push out because the gold mine here is very vulnerable to any pushes. The scout here gets picked off by villagers, but a lot of Coustilliers now running in again, and this will be trouble for Hera if he doesn't get his army over here quick. The town center is garrisoned. Another villager goes down. The villager count is 89 to 83, so it does seem close, but again, the Vikings have such a strong economy with the free wheelbarrow and free hand cart upgrades that come in immediately upon reaching the next age. The crossbow is in a good position here. We do have a trebuchet out. We might even see a dive from the Coustilliers and the battering ram, but I don't know for sure if he'll be able to do it. Hera trying to be cheeky to take this stone over here and losing so many villagers just fully cleaned up. He needs the resources, and he does have the trebuchet. He will buy some breathing room before the enemy gets to the next age. But once the Imperial Age hits, there's a castle right behind that can start building trebuchets of its own. In the meantime, Hera moving out. This was the importance early on of getting that exploration, seeing where the enemy is and what they can do later in the game. So this stone will be accessible. Hera close to having enough stone for another castle, and he will be wanting to build another castle for sure to make sure he can maintain the trebuchet production. This castle on the front, Sitaux has left it. He knows it's going down, and Hera responding on this side. What a great response from Hera. Good move to get up to the next stage, and a fantastic hold. Those mangonel shots were great. We saw 3v1, 4v1 mangonel engagements, and Hera came out breathing still. Wasn't always pretty, losing lots of crossbowmen on the route, but now the crossbowmen can outrange a mangonel and will be in a very good position to engage against the enemy. Lots of trebuchets out on the field for Hera, and immediately we see Elite Coustillier and the first defense upgrade of the next age coming in for his cavalry. Sitaux is really going to push, and this is a big army of Coustillier. As you can see, 11 plus 26 attack on the first shot. If you think about that, 35 HP for a crossbowman. It's going to be hard for these crossbows to even stay alive unless they can get into a close quarters. And this is it. The big army's going to be running forward. This is going to be a tough engagement, and smartly, Hera runs away as the Coustilliers are getting converted, but only one at a time. Is this it? Did Hera overreach already? The Coustilliers attacking now against Arbalest, so much stronger than the crossbowmen, but still not strong enough, trying to reduce the surface area that the Coustilliers can attack from and hiding amongst the houses. The castle is engaging, but it can't do enough. The trebuchets fall down easily to those first shots of the Coustilliers, and now the entire army of Hera is swept up and taken out as mangonels are on the front, and Hera is no longer in a good position. Villagers tried to come over here for Sitaux, but not quite good enough. The Coustilliers running around, and another castle dropped right next to where the last one was. Coustilliers taking out villagers all over the place. Hera still with the villager lead, but so many idols now. All of the town centers getting garrisoned, all of the town centers ringing their bells, villagers running for their lives as the Coustilliers run through the farms. This castle will go up. This looks like it's it. Hera so close, but has to call the GG. Great hold from Hera, but a good showing of how strong these elite Coustillier can be.